Hey everyone, it's Dr. Greg Rose. I'm here with Dr. Sean Drake. We're talking about the differences between our TPI golf seminars and our new RacquetFit tennis seminars with the USPTA. Now, a lot of people are asking us, so how do you come up with these screens and how do you determine what's the right functional movements for a tennis player? So I thought we would kind of highlight this by talking about the difference between the serve and a drive for golf. Now, let's talk about golf first. One of the most important functional movements that we look at is the squat. Now, whether you're looking at the functional movement screen and doing an overhead deep squat just to see is your squatting pattern normal, or as we do in golf, we look at the squat pattern to try and predict how you maintain your posture in your golf swing. Now, let me explain. Literally in the golf swing, on the downswing, there is a squatting pattern that occurs in the best players in the world. It looks like this. So imagine, get to the top of the swing. On the downswing, what you're going to see with the best players in the world is they're going to have a little squat. There's a little sit into the left side as they start to generate that energy and force into the golf ball. That little sitting movement very much replicates what we see with a squatting pattern. Now watch, a good squatting pattern, if I took my hands behind my head and I tried to squat, that's a good squatting pattern. Notice my hips flex first, my knees kind of stay over my feet. The best squatters in the world, that's what they're going to look like. A bad squatter usually does this. Heels come up, toes, knees go forward. That's a bad squatting pattern. This is a good squatting pattern. We see that correlation. Golfers who have good squatting patterns tend to have good patterns in their golf swing. Ones that have bad squatting patterns tend to lose their posture, early extend, stand up into the golf ball. Now, is it the same for tennis? Well, unfortunately, it's not. It's different. Different sports require different movement patterns. So, Sean, let's talk about the tennis serve, right? So why don't you just demonstrate like the toss trophy position, right? So if you watch, when he goes into this, look at the squatting pattern that happens. Repeat that again for me one more time. There's definitely a squatting pattern that happens. Perfect. Now watch, from the side, I showed you, golf did this. Golf went this way. Tennis, what Dr. Drake just showed you, is knees went forward. It's actually, we would call it in golf the bad squatting pattern, right? Yeah. Literally, we don't want the knees to go forward and the heels go up, but in tennis, you definitely don't want to do this when you're doing serving. So when we say, hey, we want to test to see if you have your squatting ability in tennis, our test is very different than the overhead deep squat. We do something called a wall squat. Let me show you our RacquetFit squat test. So Dr. Drake will demonstrate. We have you take your shoes off, so make sure you have that good ankle range of motion. We'll keep those shoes on here real quick. Head against the wall, butt against the wall, heels against the wall, palms against the wall. We'll measure where the longest finger is, right here. And now we're going to have him keep his heels on the ground, and he's going to slide down the wall as far as he can. And so now we're looking to see to make sure that you can get that wrist line below that original finger line. And if you can do that, then you've got the proper range of motion to be able to get into any serving position that you want. I hope that shows you big differences that we see between golf and tennis, and you'll see a bunch of those as you come through our RacquetFit seminars, and we hope to see you at one of those seminars, hopefully in the future.